Are you in free clothes as well?
Okay, here we go.
Free clothes?
Free clothes. These are free clothes.
I bought this. I know, sorry. That's because one of us is an Oscar nominee and the other one is not. Okay, here we go. You have been at this for decades.
Yeah.
Have you been fantasizing about a moment like this as an Oscar nominee?
I've been an actor for 40 years, and like 99.9% of actors, you don't get nominated or awarded things, and that's the way that it is. When you sort of get, your foot through the door like this feels like, it's out of body like. When you have a script that is also Academy nominated by Nicole Holofcener and Jeff Whitty, direction by Mariel Heller, and to work opposite Melissa McCarthy, that's a pretty winning combination in itself. Never mind the awards that have accrued around it.
I've just come from having my teeth bleached. How do they look?
Why would you do that?
It's so much fun to watch you and Melissa McCarthy together.
I agree.
And
to do it was amazing.
And clearly there is a connection there, but you guys hardly knew each other. You met 3 days before you started shooting. Mm-hmm. What do you pin it to? What do you think it is about the two of you together that's so special?
That on-screen chemistry and real-life chemistry is luck as much as anything. It felt like lightning in a bottle, but it was just instant and has remained so. So it was a real pleasure to work with her.
By accident, I find myself in a rather criminal position.
What criminal activity could possibly involve it, except a crime of fashion, of course?
The character of Jack Hawk is really kind of hardly mentioned in Lee Israel's memoir that the movie is based on. But then Nicole and Jeff really expanded on the character for the screenplay. Mm-hmm. What did you have to go off of as far as researching this man and learning about him besides the actual script?
As you pointed out, very little. I knew that from the memoir that he'd been in jail for 2 years because he'd held up a cab driver at knife point for not paying the cab fare. He was also really good at scamming people because once she'd been rumbled by the FBI and he had to go out and fence these forged literary letters of hers, where she anticipated he'd come back with $500, he'd come back with 2,000. So I knew from that, he obviously had the street smarts to go out there and, talk the talk.
If I buy you a drink, even though you're the posh writer?
Thank you.
Craigie, top her up.
It's been a joy watching you navigate this whole award season because it's like one dream coming true after another.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, now I'm talking about this whole thing with Barbra Streisand. You tweeted out this fan letter, basically, that you wrote her when you were a teenager. She saw it on Twitter, wrote back. What went through your mind when you heard that she had responded to this?
Well, first, I was so overwhelmed because if you imagine that, that was something 47 years ago, and if you have followed somebody and idolized them, and most people by the time they become adults, which I think I'm soon approaching, they get through the fan worship stage about somebody. But if somebody has really meant that much to you in your life and continues to be, to get a response like that directly was absolutely beyond anything that I could possibly have imagined. I'm just genuinely grateful that she didn't send people out to arrest me for turning up unannounced outside her gates.
Quite the opposite. She loved the performance.
Yeah.
And let the world know that on Twitter.
Bless her.